Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a crucial topic for every photographer to understand, especially beginners: the rule of thirds. This rule will transform the way you see and capture images. So let's get started. First things first, what is the rule of thirds? The rule of thirds is a compositional guideline that can make your photos more visually appealing and engaging. Here's how it works. Picture your frame as a grid divided into 9 equal parts by 2 horizontal lines and 2 vertical lines. Where do these lines cross? They converge at 4 distinct points, each referred to as your power points, crucial locations that hold significant influence. The rule of thirds suggests placing your subject or points of interest along these lines or at those intersection points. Why does this work so well? Because it aligns with how our eyes naturally perceive and scan an image. Placing your subject directly in the center can result in a static, overly symmetrical composition that lacks visual interest. But when you shift your subject off-center using the rule of thirds, you inject more dynamism and balance into your composition. Imagine crafting a captivating journey for the viewer's eye, skillfully guiding them through every element of the image. The rule of thirds isn't just a theoretical concept. It's a tool used by some of the most renowned photographers worldwide. For instance, imagine you're photographing a sunset. Instead of capturing just the sky, which is pretty, why not bring in the land as well? You could position the horizon along the bottom third of your frame, allowing the sky and the land to divide the image nicely. This not only adds more visual interest, but also creates a sense of depth. Or perhaps you're taking a portrait. Position the subject's eyes along the upper third line for a more engaging shot. It draws attention and adds depth to the image. This approach can create a sense of calm and draw attention to the eyes. By aligning the shoulder with a lower grid line, you ensure that there's enough space between the subject and the grid line. The edges of the frame serve as a crucial barrier, ensuring that they remain at a safe distance from the border. Let's take a deeper dive into why the rule of thirds works. Our eyes naturally follow lines and they're drawn to intersections. The rule of thirds leverages this tendency. The PowerPoints become areas of natural focus, helping to guide your audience through the image. Ever wonder when it's okay to break the rules? Sometimes, ditching the rule of thirds can make your image stand out and feel more dynamic. For example, when dealing with highly symmetrical subjects, such as in architecture photography, a centered composition can effectively convey this symmetry. Imagine a striking photograph of a building that beautifully highlights its intricate lines and captivating patterns. Centering the building in such a case emphasizes the symmetry, making the structure look balanced and harmonious. Similarly, if you're aiming for a formal or powerful feel, centering your subject can achieve just that. Imagine a portrait in which the subject's gaze powerfully connects with the viewers, creating an intense and immersive experience. Centering the subject reinforces the intensity of the gaze, creating a more striking impact. I also love using the rule of thirds for minimalist shots. When there's not much going on in the frame, placing the subject in the center can help establish a sense of calm or tension depending on the context. For instance, imagine a cityscape where a lone building dominates the frame. Centering this building draws attention to it as a solitary element amidst the urban landscape. Additionally, close-up portraits can sometimes benefit from not following the rule of thirds. When you're focusing tightly on a subject's face or a particular detail, the exact positioning of the subject within the frame might be less critical. In these cases, the emotional impact of the image is far more significant than strictly following the rule of thirds. Now let's talk about negative space. The space around your subject is often underestimated, but it is crucial for mastering the rule of thirds. Embracing this space can enhance your composition and elevate your photography to new levels. Negative space is not merely about vacant areas. It creates a sense of openness that enables your subject to truly shine. It prevents your subject from being cramped, helping them stand out more. Let me illustrate this with an example. If you're photographing a flower in a field, consider the surrounding context. Including some of the field or the plant's surroundings can add more depth to the image. On the other hand, if you're shooting a detailed macro shot of a flower, leaving more negative space around the flower helps emphasize the intricate details. Next, let's delve into how to apply the rule of thirds. To enhance your photography, ensure that your camera or smartphone has grid lines enabled. This simple step will help you achieve better composition and elevate your images. Most devices have a setting to turn on the grid overlay. This feature is your best friend when learning the rule of thirds. Next, think strategically about where you want to place your subject or points of interest. Remember our earlier examples: eyes along the top third, horizon on the third, etc. Don't forget to consider negative space. Leave space around your subject to help it stand out and convey more of the story. Let's take a closer look at some outstanding real-world examples from various photography genres, beginning with portraits. In a portrait, the subject's eyes are usually the focal point. Positioning the eyes along the top third line draws the viewer in, beautifully highlighting the subject's captivating gaze. When you align the shoulder with a lower grid line, you create a nice bit of space between your subject and the edge of the frame. This helps keep them from feeling too cramped near the border. This creates a sense of balance and guides the viewer's eyes smoothly through the image. In landscape photography, the horizon often plays a significant role. Placing the horizon on the bottom or top third line, depending on what you want to emphasize, can be very effective. For instance, if the sky is a significant part of the scene, placing the horizon in the bottom third allows more of the sky to be visible, thereby enhancing the sense of vastness. Similarly, placing the horizon on the top third highlights the land more, drawing attention to mountains, forests, or coastal features. Street photography, the rule of thirds can add depth and storytelling to your shots. Imagine a person or a car gets into the frame. If they're the center of attention, place them on a third line and leave some space ahead of them. This creates a sense of movement and anticipation. Wildlife photography is another genre where the rule of thirds is particularly effective. When the animal is looking into the frame, place them on a third line. This truly captivates viewers, grabbing their attention and making them instantly aware of the animal. The rule of thirds is a powerful tool. However, remember that rules are meant to be broken once you fully understand their impact. Breaking the rule of thirds can be done intentionally for creative effect. As you grow in your photographic journey, you'll learn when to break this rule for a more impactful composition. Here's a quick recap of when you can break the rule of thirds. Centered symmetry, architecture, formal portraits, and subjects that have natural symmetry. Minimalist shots, when less is more, close-up portraits, when the connection is key. That's a wrap on our deep dive into the rule of thirds. Remember, this rule is your guide to creating more engaging and balanced compositions. It's a fundamental concept that every photographer should be familiar with. If you found this tutorial helpful, please consider giving it a like and subscribing to our channel for more content. Drop a comment below with any questions or requests for future videos. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the world of photography. Until next time, happy shooting, and remember, break the rules when you know why you're doing it.